Hey gamers, beat 'em up roguelike games have quietly become one of the most exciting hybrids in modern gaming. They take that classic arcade-style brawling we grew up with, fast punches, flashy combos, chaotic screen fights, and mix it with roguelike systems that keep every run fresh and addictive. In this video, we're counting down the top 15 beat 'em up roguelike games that you should play. And yeah, some of you maybe disagree with the rankings, and that's okay. All I know these game is a good game. Alright then, without further ado, let's get started. Start with number 15th beat 'em up roguelike. We have Overrider. In this game, you play as Ryuji, a guy who literally died in a lab explosion, then wakes up 200 years later inside a synthetic body, modeled after his own sister. Wow, and your goal is to bring your sister back to life using the Moeria cloning program. And what makes this game stand out is you're not just beating enemies, you take over their bodies. Yeah, literally using enemy bodies to keep fighting. If the one you're using sucks, dump it and grab a better one. No attachment. The roguelike system isn't playing around either. You can mix implants and drones to create different builds every run, so things never feel the same twice. What's also interesting, the game has two sides. At night you're out hunting and fighting in the city, and during the day you're a doctor doing surgeries for upgrades. Yep, the game is still in early access, but honestly, it's already pretty damn fun for a beat 'em up roguelike. Just try it yourself. Next, Streets of Red Devil's Dare Deluxe is a retro-style beat-em-up game, released in 2019 that blends classic arcade action with modern roguelike elements. In this game, you are constantly swarmed by zombies, and your only way to survive is by choosing from a roster of hero characters inspired by classic video game archetypes. Each character feels different, from a durable tank-type fighter to a support healer and fast, aggressive damage dealers. One of the most interesting parts of the game is its permadeath system combined with a money mechanic. Every enemy you defeat drops coins, and those coins are crucial for survival. When your character dies, you need to pay to revive them, and the cost keeps increasing each time. If you run out of money completely, the consequences are severe, as your run can end permanently and even affect your save file. Even though that sounds harsh, this is exactly what makes the roguelike experience exciting. The game also adds replay value through multiple paths and different endings, depending on how well you perform during your run. Starfire Eternal Cycle is a solid roguelike beat-em-up with colorful visuals where you play as an amazing female character. But gameplay is fast, aggressive, and the moment you slip up, it punishes you hard. As a roguelike, the most addictive part is easily the build system. You can stack attack speed, crit damage, or lean into a specific playstyle, and once your build clicks, the damage goes crazy. Big numbers flying everywhere, super satisfying to watch. The rage feature is easily one of the coolest highlights. Every time you hit enemies, the meter fills up to 3 bars. You can spend them one at a time for skills, or go all in for a special attack with flashy animations and brutal damage. That said, the environmental interaction feels kinda lacking. You can't destroy objects or really use hazards against enemies, which feels like a missed opportunity. Hopefully, future updates add more environmental interaction because that would make the whole experience way more fun. Before we go into the list, I want to tell you about my favorite place to buy games, and that's Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is an awesome site for grabbing games at great prices. Not only they always have fantastic discounts, but also they running giveaways you won't want to miss. Seriously, these deals are hard to beat. Where else are you going to find prices this good? Why pay full price when you can grab the same game for way less, right? Yeah, you can shop for games on all kinds of platforms, like PC, PS5, Xbox, and a Nintendo Switch. There are also numerous convenient products to enhance your gaming experience, such as subscriptions, gift cards, and many more. No worries, it's 100% legit, fast, and super easy to use, and their support team is available 24/7. So what are you waiting for? Go check out your favorite games by using the link in the description below and start saving your cash with Instant Gaming. And by using my link, you're not just getting awesome deals, but also supporting this channel. Alright then, let's get back into the list. Going Under is a roguelike dungeon crawler with light beat-em-up gameplay wrapped in a weirdly unique theme, the absurd world of startup jobs. Story-wise, it actually hits. Unlike a lot of roguelikes that barely care about narrative, this is one of the main reasons the game stands out. The satire on startup culture lands hard, sharp, sometimes savage, but never annoying. The characters all feel distinct too, not like the same voice wearing different skins. They've got their own personalities, problems, and quirks, and they genuinely feel alive. It's rare to see writing this consistent without feeling forced. And as a roguelike, the loop is where it really proves itself. Runs are short, but the progression feels meaningful. The skills you get can turn absolutely ridiculous if you combine them right. Something as dumb as ping pong balls can become insanely overpowered with the right setup. Sometimes you're unstoppable, sometimes you get garbage builds. That's just how roguelikes roll, and honestly, that's part of the fun. If you jump into Tunche expecting it to be instantly fun, yeah, get ready to be disappointed first. This is one of those slow burn games, not the kind that hooks you in the first 10 minutes. Yep, it's a 2.5D beat 'em up with roguelite elements. You pick one of 5 characters, then head into the jungle to search for something called Tunche. Concept-wise, it's actually pretty interesting. You're thrown into this forest with barely any explanation. Just some monsters showing up and a vague connection to this mysterious entity. Each character has their own fighting style and skills, complete with a skill tree. There are bosses at the end of each area, artifacts that give passive buffs, and an annoying llama that happily drains your money through weird little challenges. You know, totally normal stuff for a game like this. And yeah, it does have co-op, but no online multiplayer. So if you're on Xbox, good luck finding someone to play with. Hopefully you've actually got friends willing to jump in, because otherwise, that's gonna be a problem. Kiborg is a fast-paced, third-person beat-em-up roguelite where you play as Morgan Lee, a prisoner forced to climb a tower packed with enemies for a shot at freedom that, yeah, already sounds pretty shady. Since this is a roguelite, you already know the deal. You die, restart, and come back stronger. It's the classic loop, just wrapped in a more aggressive, hard-hitting style. The combat system instantly feels similar to Batman Arkham City, especially with the lock-on and the flow between enemies. You can zip from one target to another, making fights feel smooth and satisfying. But yeah, if you're expecting deep, flexible combos, don't get your hopes too high. It's a bit of a letdown there. And yeah, there's co-op too. You already know how chaotic and fun that's gonna get. Rampage Knights is a 2.5D beat-em-up arcade roguelite where you play as a warrior pushing through level after level, starting in the woods and moving into increasingly brutal areas. The fun part, every run feels different. Enemies, loot, even the situations you run into keep changing thanks to the roguelite system. The combat is pretty solid. This isn't the kind of game where you can just mash buttons and hope for the best. Enemies have their own patterns and weaknesses. Some carry shields, some attack from a distance, and others just rush you down like maniacs. So you have to adapt whether you like it or not. That's where the game really starts to click. And then there's the variety of items and effects. Weapons, armor, and familiars, basically pets, come in all kinds of weird and interesting forms. Some help you attack automatically, others have strange but useful effects. And the potions? They can either boost you or mess you up in the most ridiculous ways. You might suddenly get hit with some absurd effect right in the middle of a fight, and honestly, that's what makes it memorable. Next, we have Sifu. Who doesn't know this game? It's all about one thing, avenging your family. That's your whole drive from start to finish. No distractions, no fluff. The combat, yeah, it's seriously good, but don't expect to button mash your way through. This game will shut that down real quick. You actually have to think, read enemy movements, and stay aware of your positioning. One small mistake, and you're getting swarmed and wrecked. One of the coolest mechanics here is the aging system. Every time you die, your character gets older. The older you get, the harder you hit, but your health drops. So So early on, you're more balanced, but later, you turn into a glass cannon that can go down fast if you mess up. Because of that, Sifu is all about trial and error and getting better over time. You'll replay levels, learn from your mistakes, unlock new skills, and slowly improve. This isn't a game you just beat, it's one you master. Double Dragon Gaiden: Rise of the Dragons. This is one of those classic-style brawlers that's seriously replayable. The story is pretty straightforward. A city has fallen into chaos and is taken over by gangs. But honestly, that's more than enough reason to keep moving forward and fighting your way from one area to the next. What makes it really interesting is the mix of gameplay styles, classic beat-em-up action combined with a tag team system. And yes, every run feels different because you can choose the order of stages, pick up upgrades, and collect money that goes into permanent character improvements. This system gives each playthrough a real sense of progress and makes you want to keep going back for more. There's also that addictive just one more run feeling, especially when you're trying to unlock new characters or additional content. The tag mechanic, where you can switch between characters, also makes combat feel more dynamic. Whether you're playing solo or in local co-op, it keeps the action engaging and varied. Towerborne is a side-scrolling beat-em-up blended with RPG and a loot system. You play as an ace, a hero, exploring a world shattered by rifts and monsters, with the last safe haven centered around a massive tower called the Belfry. At first glance, the game may look like a standard co-op beat-em-up, but it actually has a deep and addictive progression system. Each class plays differently, from defensive tank roles to fast, agile assassins, and every one of them can evolve through a flexible skill tree. What makes it even more interesting is that you can completely reshape how a class plays as you progress, so it never feels locked or rigid. Another standout system is the Umbra, small companion creatures that provide unique abilities during combat. The combination of Umbra abilities and class customization makes experimenting with builds one of the most enjoyable parts of the game. And when played with friends, the on-screen chaos actually becomes one of the biggest highlights. One of the best beat-em-up roguelites right now, even in early access, is Lost Castle 2. For players who enjoyed the first Lost Castle, this sequel is something you've probably been waiting for. As a roguelite, build variety is the main attraction. Even in its early access state, the game already offers hundreds of weapons across multiple categories, dozens of armor sets, and a large number of relics with passive effects that can completely change how you play. There's also a permanent upgrade system in the camp, which keeps progression meaningful even when you fail repeatedly in the dungeons. Combat also has a controlled chaos to it. It feels hectic and fast, but still readable once you get used to it. Elite enemies also have clear attack tells, so timing and reaction matter just as much as button pressing. It's not a mindless brawler, you actually need awareness and positioning. On top of that, the co-op feature makes everything more intense and more fun. Playing with friends increases the chaos in the best way possible, turning each run into a messy but exciting experience. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Splintered Fate is a surprisingly strong entry in the beat-em-up genre blended with roguelike mechanics. And yes, the combat system feels solid with basic attacks, special skills, support items, and a dodge dash that keeps everything fast and responsive. It's simple on the surface, but it works really well in practice. Each turtle plays differently, so picking a character isn't just a cosmetic choice, it actually changes how you approach combat. Since it's a roguelike, every room you clear lets you choose upgrades that can completely change your build and playstyle. The catch is that all upgrades are temporary, only lasting during that run. That design pushes you to keep experimenting and replaying, trying out different combinations each time. Multiplayer is where the game really shines. Playing with friends, either locally or online, turns the action into controlled chaos in the best way. Team coordination, overlapping abilities, and constant screen effects make every fight feel like a small, unpredictable action party. The Street of Rage 4 survival mode is fantastic and is worth every penny. It's an arcade mode in which you clear a randomly generated screen, or weakly arranged, and you're offered power-ups to choose from. You begin your build here. Next screen, a slightly harder set of enemies leading to more power-ups, and on it goes. I've actually gone back to this mode as I became bored of Absolum. I felt that I'd seen it all, and I don't really like the choice of playable characters. I find Mr. X Nightmare infinitely more playable. For a pure beat-em-up experience, Streets of Rage 4 still stands as one of the highest benchmarks in the genre. The combat feels incredibly smooth, responsive, and satisfying, whether you're playing solo or in co-op. If you feel like finishing the story mode alone isn't satisfying enough, this DLC is a must-have. Its roguelike elements make every run feel different, and the new move unlocking system is super addictive, especially for experimenting with combos. Rotwood is a roguelike beat-em-up developed by Cly Entertainment. As a roguelite brawler, this game is genuinely a lot of fun to play. Here you play as a hunter tasked with protecting a safe region from corrupted creatures. And yeah, the gameplay is the main attraction here. Rotwood really stands out in its combat system. You can't just spam buttons mindlessly here. Every weapon has its own rhythm, which means your playstyle changes depending on what you choose to use. It feels more intentional and skill-based rather than chaotic button mashing. Build variety is also one of the biggest highlights. During each run, players can pick up different power-ups that can drastically change how you play. Sometimes a small combination is enough to completely shift your style from slow and heavy to fast and aggressive. Yeah, at number 1, we have Absolum. Absolum is an arcade-style brawler that feels like a modern evolution of a classic formula mixed with roguelike and light RPG mechanics. The story takes place in a fantasy world where magic users are caught in conflict against a tyrannical force that seeks to control and oppress them. You know, as roguelike, so each run can end in failure, but progression still carries forward thanks to an upgrade system in the hub area. This is where the game starts to show its depth. Characters can be strengthened, new abilities are unlocked, and even NPCs can join your journey to provide assistance. The combat itself is the main highlight. Controls are simple: basic attacks, dodging, magic abilities, and additional actions like throwing enemies or using environmental objects. But when all these systems come together, the result feels very satisfying. Combat flow and juggling enemies feel smooth, especially when played in co-op. Even though it only supports 2 players, the co-op experience remains one of its strongest features. And that's it for today. Those were lists the top 15 beat-em-up roguelike games that you should play. Got a hidden gem I didn't mention? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video or discovered a new title to add to your collection, feel free to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss future content. Once again, if you want to buy games with cheap price, the link in the description, okay? So, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.